Hi friends, and welcome to one more tutorial here on my channel. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you will know every time I post a new tutorial. And if you like this tutorial, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up before you go. And today I am going to show you how to crochet this cute pineapple soap saver. I'm kind of in a pineapple mood. I did make a pineapple bag saver. I will put the link down below for that pattern if you would like to take a look at it. And then I got the inspiration to make this one, and I just think it turned out very cute. And I'm going to show you right now what we are going to use to make one of those. For this tutorial, we are going to use a 5mm hook. We are also going to use 4 medium-sized beads. We are going to need a pair of scissors, tapestry needle, and 2 colors of yarn. I have here my yellow and my green yarn, and this is all that we are going to need. So let me go ahead and let me show you how to do it. We are going to start with a slip knot. So work one slip knot. And now we are going to chain 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. On the third chain from the hook, we are going to work 3 double crochets. So work 1, go back to the same stitch and work 2, back to the same stitch and work 3. So now on the next 6 stitches, work 1 double crochet on each one. So on the next stitch, 1 double crochet, on the next one, 1 double crochet, and just keep doing it until you have 6 double crochets. So I have 6 double crochets and 1 chain left. On this chain one right here, we are going to work 6 double crochets on the same stitch. So just yarn over and double crochet 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. Now we are going to work 1 double crochet for each of the 6 next stitches. So work 1, 2, 3 and 6. And on the very last stitch that we had 3 double crochets, we are going to work 3 more double crochets inside of the very first stitch. So I have 2 and 3. Now go ahead and slip stitch on the top of the very first double crochet, chain 2, and this chain 2 will not count as a stitch. And what we are going to do, we are going to work a round of double crochets with no increases, but working on the back loop only. So go ahead and start with a double crochet on the very first stitch, grabbing only the back loop. For the next stitch, the same thing, grabbing only the back loop. And if you don't know how to work on the back loop only, I do have a video here on my channel. I will put on the cards so you can go check it out. Just keep working this way, working 1 double crochet for each of those stitches from the previous round, working on the back loop only until you get to the end of this round. Once you get at the end of this round, you should have 24 double crochets. Go ahead and slip stitch on the top of the very first double crochet and chain 3. This chain 3 will count as a first double crochet, and what we are going to do now, we are going to work 2 more double crochets on the same stitch. So go back to the same stitch and work 1 and 2 double crochets. Skip 2 stitches. On the next one, work 3 double crochets on the same stitch. So 1, go back to the same stitch and make 2, back to the same stitch and make 3. Now skip 2 again. On the third one, work again 3 double crochets on the same stitch. So 1, 2 and 3. And now we are just going to repeat the same thing all around. Skip 2, 3 double crochets on the same stitch. Skip 2, 3 double crochets on the same stitch until you get to the end of the round. Once you get at the end of this round, you see that you have 2 stitches left. We are going to skip this stitch and we are going to slip stitch on the third chain of the very first 3 chains that we made to start. Go ahead and chain 2, and this chain 2 will be the beginning of our first double crochet. And now what we are going to do, we are going to do 3 double crochets together. So this chain 2 will count as the beginning of the first double crochet. Yarn over, insert the hook on the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. But we are not going to finish the double crochet. We are going to yarn over again, insert the hook on the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, and instead of finalizing a double crochet, we are going to yarn over and pull through all the 3 loops. So we just made 3 double crochets together. Now go ahead and chain 2 and skip to the next set of 3. Actually, we are actually not skipping anything. So go to the next 3 double crochet set and work 3 double crochets together. So yarn over, insert the hook on the first stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So instead of finish up this double crochet, we are going to yarn over again, insert the hook on the next stitch, pull up another loop, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, but we are not going to finish up this double crochet. We are going to yarn over again, insert the hook on the third double crochet, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So once you have 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all the 4 loops. Chain 2 again and work the same 3 double crochets together on the next the next set of 3 double crochets. And this is what we are going to do all around. A set of 3 double crochets together, chain 2, and then move on to the next 3 double crochet set, the same. Once you get here at the very last stitch, you are going to chain 2 and slip stitch on the top of the very first stitch. For the next round, we are going to start with a slip stitch inside that 2 chain space, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. This chain 3 will count as your first double crochet. Now go back to the very first chain space and work 2 more double crochets. 1 and 2. Skip to the next chain space, work 3 double crochets. Skip to the next chain space and work 3 double crochets. And this is what you're going to do for this whole round. Just work 3 double crochets on each of those chain spaces. Once you get at the end of this round, go ahead and slip stitch on the top of the very first double crochet. And we are going to move on to the next round. Chain 2. And this chain 2 will count as the beginning of our first double crochet. And now we are going to repeat the same thing that we did on this round right here, which is round number 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So on round 6 we are going to repeat the same thing that we did on round 4. So work 3 double crochets together. Chain 2. On the next 3 double crochet sets, work 3 double crochets together again. Chain 2. And keep working 3 double crochets together for each of that 3 double crochet set from the previous round until you get to the end of the round. Once you get at the end of the round, chain 2 and slip stitch on the top of the very first stitch. Now we are going to repeat the same thing that we did on round 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This round right here, and we started with a slip stitch inside the chain space. Now chain 3. Come back to the same chain space and work 2 more double crochets, and that chain 3 will count as a double crochet. Now skip to the next 2 chain space and work 3 double crochets. And this is what we are going to do on this round. Just keep working a set of 3 double crochets on each of those 2 chain spaces. Once you get at the end of the round, go ahead and slip stitch on that 3rd chain of those three that we did to start. Chain 2, and we are going to repeat the round 4 again. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's this right here where we are going to do 3 double crochets together for each set of 3 double crochets from the previous round. So we started with chain 2. Go ahead and start a double crochet on the next stitch. Start another double crochet on the next stitch. Yarn over and pull through all the loops on the hook. Chain 2. On the next double crochet set, we are going to work 3 double crochets together. So 1, and 2 and 3. Once you have 4 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all the 4 loops. Chain 2 and go to the next set of double crochets from the previous round and do the same thing. And we are just going to work this way until we get to the end of this round. Once you get at the end of the round, just don't forget to chain 2 and go ahead and slip stitch on the top of the very first stitch. Chain 1. This chain 1 will not count as a stitch. Go back to that same stitch and work 1 single crochet. On the next 2 chain space, go ahead and work 2 single crochets. Another single crochet on the top of those 3 double crochets together that we did on the previous round. Inside the chain space, 2 single crochets. So just keep working single crochet around, 2 single crochets on each chain space plus 1 single crochet on the top of 3 double crochets that we did all together until you get to the end of the round. And once you get here, you should have 24 single crochets. Once you get at the end of this round, we are going to slip stitch on the top of the very first stitch. But right here, we are going to change the color to green. So instead of picking this yellow yarn right here, we are going to introduce the green yarn. So go ahead and introduce the green. Chain 1. This chain 1 will not be considered a stitch. Go back to the same stitch and we are going to work single crochet all around, but working on the back loop only. So go back to that very first stitch and work 1 single crochet on the back loop only. For the second stitch, the same thing. And we are just going to work single crochets around, 1 for each stitch of the previous round, until we get to the end of this round with 24 single crochets. So I worked all my single crochets around. Once you get at the end of the round, go ahead and slip stitch on the very first stitch. Chain 1, and this chain 1 will not be a single crochet. So go back to the same stitch and work 1 single crochet. Chain 1, skip the next stitch and single crochet on the next one. Chain 1, skip the next stitch and single crochet on the next one. Chain 1, skip the next stitch, single crochet on the next one. So this is what we are going to work until we get to the end of this round. Single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet again. So just keep doing that until we get to the end of this round. Once you get at the end of the round, after chain 1, you should have just 1 stitch left. We are going to skip that stitch and slip stitch on the top of the very first stitch. Now we are going to chain 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. On the second chain from the hook, work a slip stitch. On the next one, work 1 single crochet. On the next one, another single crochet. And on the 3 last ones, we are going to work 1 half double crochet for each one of those chains. 1, I have 2 and 3. Now we are going to skip that chain space and slip stitch on the next single crochet. So this is what you should have right now. Go ahead and chain 7 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And just repeat the same thing that we did on this one right here. Skip 1 on the second chain from the hook. Work 1 slip stitch. On the next one, a single crochet. On the next one, another single crochet. And on the 3 last ones, 1 half double crochet for each one of them. Skip the chain space and slip stitch on the next single crochet. And this is pretty much what we are going to do for this last round. We are going to just work this way around until we get to the end of the round. Once you get here at the end, you should have that very last chain space. We are going to skip that and slip stitch back to that very first single crochet at the beginning. And at this point you can just cut the yarn and fasten off. And you can go ahead and weave in the ends as well, because we are pretty much done with the soap saver. Now we just need to attach the strings, and I will be right back to show you how we are going to do it. So you are going to cut 4 pieces of 15 inches of yarn, and we are going to use 2 for one side and 2 for the other side. And we are going to use a tapestry needle, and I'm going to use the yellow yarn here just so you can see it better, but you should be using the green yarn. So here is what we are going to do. We are going to pass this yarn through the bag, starting from here all around and coming back this way. And for the other side, we are just going to start on the opposite side. For the other side, we are going to start sewing from here, go all the way around and come back here. So you should have it this way. In this one, we are going to start from the right side. So when I start doing it, you will understand it better. So we are going basically start from the sides. So let me choose this side right here. Now we are going to kind of do a sewing movement, and you can choose that previous round where we did those chain space, so it will be much easier to go up and down. So this is the only thing that you need to do, just go up and down around, just passing that yarn through those holes, and you just need to basically do it until you get at the other side of the pattern. And then you should have the 4 tips of your yarn all through one side. So for the other side, what we are going to do, we are just going to start on the opposite side. So we started this one from this side and we went all around. So now we are going to the opposite side and do the same thing, but just starting from here. So you're just going to go around until you get to the other side. And now you should have all the 4 tips of the yarn on the same side. And just as a finish, we are going to take a tapestry needle. I'm just using this smaller one because it will be easier to get into those beads hole. Now pass that yarn through that bead. So once you have your bead, just come here, make a knot. And just leave around 1/2 centimeter. And you just need to do the same thing for each of the other tips of the yarn. I have one here that I made with the green, so you see that you won't see the yarn coming and going, and it looks pretty neat. And that's it. So I do have a soap here, and let me show you how it works. Just pull the strings and voila, your pineapple soap saver. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It helps me a lot. Again, if you're not subscribed yet, please go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next tutorial. Oh, and I forgot to say that I will have the link down below for the written pattern for this tutorial if you'd like to check it out. And yeah, see you guys.